Hey guys, it's Nailbiter, and I've got another Battlefield 3 video here for you guys. Although before I get too far into this video, I do want to apologize for not really posting very much the last couple of weeks. I've been pretty busy with an assortment of stuff, and you know, typically I try to get stuff done on the weekends, and last weekend was pretty busy for me, and so I just haven't had too much time to work on videos, and so I think it's probably been close to, if not more than 2 weeks now since I've done a commentary, and so I apologize for that. You know, typically I try to at least do one commentary a week, and so you know, things will be settling down now, and I'll be able to get back into the kind of routine that I was, or the kind of routine that I was using before. So, anyways, I'll just quickly explain this gameplay. I'm playing some Team Deathmatch, and I've been posting a lot of Team Deathmatch gameplay recently. I did that live commentary session, that live Team Deathmatch commentary session, and I've just been posting Team Deathmatch gameplay in general a little more often as well. And part of the reason I think for that is that there just aren't that many Conquest servers that are consistently populated right now that really interest me that I really want to play on. You know, because as I've talked a little bit about before, I typically like to play on 32-player Conquest servers, either Conquest Large mostly. I will play Conquest Small from time to time, and it just seems like now whenever I go, or whenever I log onto Battlelog and I check the server browser, there are very few servers that are, you know, that fit those qualifications, that fit those guidelines. And you know, as I've talked about before, I don't really like all those servers with all the little customizations and, you know, high tickets or whatever, or just, you know, very specific map rotations. I like to play as many maps as possible, and so I've found recently that Team Deathmatch has been a little more fun for me. Although, to be honest, most of the Team Deathmatch servers that I find are, generally speaking, playing only Noshahr Canals and Karg Island, which can also be a little frustrating. But you know, for whatever reason, I've just found Team Deathmatch to be a bit more enjoyable out of all the game modes recently. I've played a little bit of Rush, but the problem with the Rush, I just think, is that, you know, attacking I think is fun, but when you have to defend, it just gets kind of boring. And when you're on a bad team, it can be really frustrating. So from time to time, I'll play Rush, but for the most part, I'd rather play Conquest. And since that just hasn't been working for me recently, I've been playing more Team Deathmatch. I've also actually been playing a lot of the World of Tanks game, which I did post a video for, I think a couple weeks ago now. It's probably been 3 weeks. And I've been meaning to post another gameplay for that, but as I mentioned earlier, I have been busy, so I just haven't gotten the chance to do as much with my YouTube channel as I would have liked. So expect to see another World of Tanks video sometime soon, sometime in the next week, hopefully. Since the first one seemed to go over pretty well, and that is a game that I've been enjoying playing along with Battlefield 3, so I'll definitely continue to post videos from that game from time to time. And then the other thing that I wanted to ask you guys was whether or not you'd be interested in seeing any Diablo 3 gameplay on my channel. I played some of Diablo 2. I didn't play it extensively, but I thought it was a pretty good game. I had fun with it, and I know a few people I know got Diablo 3, and they've been enjoying it so far. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, let me know, and I'll definitely consider getting the game and posting gameplay for that. But otherwise, I think that's just about all I wanted to update you guys on. As you can tell, I'm using the AEK in this video, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but what I've been doing recently is jumping into Team Deathmatch servers, and then just trying to really get the best score possible with all the different assault rifles in the game. So in this round I happen to be using the AEK, and I've just been kind of enjoying the challenge of seeing how well I can do on these Team Deathmatch servers, and I think in this round I go 59 and 12, something like that, so it's a pretty good gameplay, and the AEK is definitely a good Team Deathmatch weapon to use because it's really good at close ranges, and most of the Team Deathmatch maps are fairly close range. It's not, or you're not going to get into too many situations where it's better to have a long range weapon than a close range weapon. So it's definitely a solid weapon, especially in Noshahr Canals, which has a lot of close quarters encounters in it, or it's a lot of close quarter gameplay. And so yeah, I've just been kind of enjoying the challenge of trying to see how well I can do, really. And you know, just because Conquest really hasn't been doing it for me recently, as I talked about earlier. So, you know, you'll probably see a couple more of these sorts of gameplays from me in the next couple of weeks, at least until the Close Quarters expansion comes out. I have another one of these recorded with an almost identical score, actually. So, I'll probably be posting that soon. And just back to the AEK. So, as I mentioned, it's a very good close-range weapon, and it has a really fast fire rate. And I mean, for those of you that played the beta, this gun was by far the best. Maybe either this gun or the UMP were the best weapons in the beta. And while the UMP got nerfed pretty significantly, I'd say the AEK is still a really good weapon. It does have a fair amount of recoil, and so if you'll kind of notice, or what I've noticed from using this weapon is that it has a lot of recoil sort of up and to the left. And so, you know, when you're shooting, especially at kind of when you're not trying to burst fire, it's good to try to counter that recoil, and just to keep that in mind. So typically what I like to do, you know, I mean, at close ranges, obviously you can just full auto with this gun, and you shouldn't have any problems. But sort of medium ranges, when you might have to burst fire a little bit, what I typically like to do is I like to burst for the first couple of shots that I take on an enemy, and then as soon as I have them damaged a little bit, I like to full auto, and then just, you know, keeping in mind that the recoil goes up and to the left, I like to just counter that by pulling my mouse sort of down and to the right a little bit. And you know, typically with the fast fire to the AEK, I'm going to get a couple of shots on my target, and I'll be able to take them out. So it's a very effective weapon, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about my strategy for playing this map, Noshahr Canals, on Team Deathmatch, because, you know, I know for anybody, or for any of you who play Team Deathmatch consistently, or even every once in a while, Noshahr Canals is a pretty popular Team Deathmatch map. It comes up on server rotations quite a bit. And in fact, you know, there are a bunch of Team Deathmatch servers out there, I think, that play 24/7 Noshahr Canals, or a combination of Noshahr Canals and Karg Island. So, or at least those are the maps that I run into the most when I'm playing Team Deathmatch. And you know, I did post a gameplay, I think, a couple weeks ago from the live commentary session that I did playing Team Deathmatch on Noshahr Canals, and I was using a shotgun in that video. And I think the strategy that you should use when using a shotgun on this map is very different from the way you should play if using an assault rifle on this map, because, you know, while the AEK does have, or while a gun like the AEK does have really good you know, hip fire capabilities, and it's good at close ranges, it's going to be really difficult to consistently beat somebody who's using a shotgun, especially if you're trying to run in those crates. And so if you're using an assault rifle on this map, I would say generally avoid that area in the center where all those crates are, because it's hard to, first of all, you know, keep all the enemies in front of you. It's very easy to get somebody just running around behind you with a shotgun or something, and it can be just tough to control the gun encounters that you get into. So typically what I like to do on this map when I'm using an assault rifle is I like to stay on the outskirts of the map and try to flank around and get into the enemy spawn, either via that boat area that's sort of to my right that heads towards the bridge, or by this area that I'm at right now, which I think I spawned over here a lot, and I ended up taking this route quite a bit. But going up these stairs and then trying to take cover over here by these train tracks and picking guys off that are either spawning or just sitting in their spawn back here. And you know, one thing that you do have to be careful about in Team Deathmatch, and it's not as bad, I think, with Noshahr Canals as it is with Karg Island, but the spawns are they still can be a little bit weird, and you do sometimes get enemies spawning right behind you from time to time. So I try to be careful when I'm going into the enemy spawn, because I know that even if I do have a couple of teammates in here with me who have pushed in and killed a couple of enemies, you know, chances are they're still going to be spawning in this area. And, you know, I don't want somebody to spawn right behind me and kill me when I'm trying to push up and cause a spawn switch. So generally speaking, you know, as you can see, I'm kind of being cautious over here on the edge of the map and just trying to kill anybody who gets close to me, but at the same time trying to do enough damage so I can cause a spawn switch. Because I think, you know, these Team Deathmatch maps, Noshahr Canals isn't as bad, but a map like, well, Terran Highway used to be really bad, but you know, I think these maps are best when you can kind of get a little bit of flow to them. And so, you know, I personally hate it when it's just a stalemate between the two teams, and I always try to flank around a little bit and push up, and so that's what you kind of see me do over the course of this gameplay. And as I said earlier, I think I'd have a pretty good game here. Final score is something like 59-12, so it's definitely a solid round. And yeah, the AEK is a good weapon. I don't know if I mentioned this already. I think I might have, but I am using the underslung rail and flash suppressor on this gun, and that setup seems to work pretty well because the AEK does have a lot of recoil. The flash suppressor is a useful attachment to use. So anyways, I think that's just about all I wanted to talk about in this video. I wanted to just really do an update commentary since it had been a while since I'd posted a commentary on my channel. So expect to see more of these team deathmatch gameplays in the next couple of weeks. And otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And let me know about the Diablo 3 if you'd like to see gameplay from that game. And otherwise, thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you guys later.